Hello Total War gamers, my name is Deacon and welcome to the first episode of a new series in Napoleon Total War with Great Britain. And besides the victory conditions set to historical rather than world domination and campaign and battle difficulty maxed out without advisor help, CPU moves, battle time limit and so on, we will crack on. Now I have played Napoleon in the coalition with Prussia and France. I've done all the mini campaigns for France, but I have not yet played as Great Britain, as they always appear to me as being a little bit too easy. They're sitting on their island, well protected, and you can just pick France apart as you like, basically. At least that's what I've always thought about it, but I've never tried. And
Napoleon and his
well,
godless revolutionaries have no respect for the status quo. They insist on meddling with the balance of power on mainland Europe. Defenseless Liguria has been annexed by France, and such behavior cannot be tolerated. As a result, Great Britain has joined forces with Austria and Russia to oppose French continental ambitions. Sweden, Portugal, and the smaller Italian states have vowed to aid the struggle, but the three great powers must take most of the strain in opposing this monstrous revolutionary threat. Whilst Austria and Russia attempt to deal with Napoleon on the fields of Bavaria, you must ensure that his navy is kept in check. Admiral Villeneuve's fleet must be intercepted by the Royal Navy, lest the armies of France march on British shores. Then, inshore blockades are maintained across all French ports. Finally, your long-standing ally Portugal must be aided in pushing through into occupied Spain, opening a second front and splitting the might of Napoleon's armies.
so what we'll try and do is play the game uh, as lawful, if you can call it lore, as true to history as we might possibly do, or as we possibly can. And so, politics-wise, the role of Great Britain has always been to keep the balance in continental Europe and side on the losing side to prevent them from being crushed and thus creating a superpower on the continent. Now at Waterloo, Britain fought alongside Prussia and the Dutch, which are now a vassal state to France. So recreating Waterloo in a historical sense won't be possible unless they free themselves of their ties with France and actually join us in a march on, say, Paris and fight in Brussels somewhere, below Brussels. And that of course would be fun if that were to happen. We may be able to play it a bit into that direction. But then again, there also may not be so much that we can really do. Now in terms of trade, of course we're going to try and occupy and defend all the trade nodes that we can. We're already occupying most of the trade over here, and we're going to try also take this one. However, the rest of them that are here down south, they're going to pose quite a problem, because France is here with a 6-ship navy. We have also 6. We might be able to capture a few, but then we'd have to repair and retrain them. Maybe if Lisbon does something over here, we might be able to move in and take over. But as things are right now, whoever is here, oh actually we could retrain in Gibraltar. That's fun. Let's build a dockyard here. And we are of course a naval power, so there's a lot of trade that can be done also in Mediterranean. And yeah, as a trade nation, we're a naval power and a trade nation. We are going to try and dominate the seas and secure all the trade for ourselves, much like we're playing our game with the United Provinces in Empire Total War right now. For the moment, let's see in diplomacy how we are doing on the war front. We are at war with France and Spain. We can trade with Prussia, who should be our ally in the wars to come. So we've got trade with them, and let's try and be a bit historical about it. Let's try also for an alliance with them. They won't accept now. Can't blame them. We're allied to Austria, that they're quite likely to be at war with sometime sooner or later. We can have trade with Russia if they accept. Oh sure, 280, not a problem. And then let's see if there's any minor nations that we could still trade with. And yes, there are. Let's first go for Portugal, and we're going to try and keep them alive. Now, there's a mention of our ally Portugal at the start. However, we still have to request an alliance with them, and they're rejecting. So this is interesting and odd. Yep, more trade. So now we're all set for trading. The Batavian Republic are also a Protestant nation, but they are under the protection of France. I think they're like a tributary state or a vassal or the kind of thing. So there's a bunch of them that are overtly friendly towards us, and there's a bunch that are openly at war with us. The Batavian Republic has a naval force over here somewhere. I thought I saw them trading at least this node to receive, which is historically one of their colonies as well, so that does make sense. However, I don't expect our single fleet to be able to single-handedly deal with all of their ships over there. The 5th rate is going to stay here as well. So we're going to build ports all around. We need one military port in the south at Gibraltar, and the rest of them can be trade ports. And that means that there may be some towns, some ports undeveloped, like in Scotland, that are going to turn into ports at a later time, like here, and in Ireland here. So those are all going to be trading ports. I'm not sure. Here is what mines. Now we're going through our cache rather fast, which isn't really a problem. And I'm expecting... Are there any villages that will later turn into full-blown, full-grown ports? I don't think so. I think we've pretty much touched on all of them. This is trade. Then of course we're also going to do research with our gentlemen, and at the start of the game we are going to focus on public schooling to further develop our research. There's a less complex tree in Napoleon compared to Empire Total War. We have fleets here and there and everywhere, and we are at war with France. Now they don't have a harbor here. They do have one over here though. I'm gonna... Alright, just gonna destroy some of their ports to hurt their economy. And We'll do the same with this force over here. Destroy their port and then sit inside our own port. Now I want to capture this trade node and I don't have any ships close by. Recruitment areas not very close. So if I were to recruit a merchantman here, it's going to take 3 turns until it gets there. And we'll sooner have... oh, we already have a surplus of units here. So I'm going to send one of those ships over to this trade node and take it on the next turn. And that is that. Are there any trade nodes over here in the Baltic? No, which is strange really, because in fact this was one of the richest trading areas for much of Northern Europe in terms of wood and salt and
Ready and awaiting orders. Forwards! March!
also from the whaling industry, I could call it. There were a lot of whalers that would produce stuff that was in huge demand in the rest of Europe. Now our army minister, oh, we are having elections in 34 turns. Kick him. There you go. Nothing to do with that. Upright is good for treasury, but not as good as this guy. He's an agrarian. Alright. Navy, we're not going to replace him. He's saving us way too much money. So in terms of research, we are done for now. We are making a tiny bit of money. And let's see, for the province of London, let's just call it a province. We have industrial centers, commercial centers. We'll need money before we can develop anything else besides what we have here. Oh no! Ha! We can actually build a market in Ireland. So a little bit more money spent, all focused towards trade and income, growth, and the military buildings and the industrial buildings, they can wait for a while. Now this army here does come with Mr. John Moore and a Highland foot. I'm going to suppose we don't need it for public order. And these guys are costing us maintenance. So let's see if we move them out. What happens to public order? It's going yellow, so that's only just there. So eventually we'll build a magistrate and try and disband those units. Let's see if Scotland really needs a garrison army. Foot artillery. They don't really need it. So let's go and meet up with the rest of our forces in London. And we'll try and have navies here and let's see, this one. We are at war with Spain. So let's destroy this port here. And then raid. Oh, no, no. Trade routes here. So now we're raiding. So we have some forces. We are particularly strong in navy. Oh wow. There's no starting prestige save for France that has military. Apparently we don't have any military. Thank you. We need to conquer Hanover, Provence, Spain, Denmark, Bretagne and the Balearic Isles, which we can do out of Gibraltar. Actually, I'm building a port there, but do we have anything to defend it with? Not right now. Okay. And I doubt that they've given us like a the Rock fortress. This here is Spain. Spanish harbor. Spanish fleet. No, I'm not giving us too much of a chance, to be honest. But regardless, we can try, and if we fail, then at least we've tried. There's no shame in that. So, and then diplomacy-wise, we have tried to ally ourselves with Prussia, and that didn't work. We're already at war with Russia, or at war allied to Russia and Austria, both of which are countries that Prussia could get into war with. Now, Hanover is at war with us. It's one of our where is it? Hanover. Is that just no longer an independent country? Just it just belongs to France. So it's part of France now. So once we invade, we could go for Hanover here, as that is one of our objectives. And Denmark, which is simply owned by Denmark. We're at peace with them now, which I think is an interesting thing to keep. However, relations do seem to be a little bit tense. Sweden is just out of the European wars. After wrecking half the continent, we're allied to them as well, and they are at war with France. No one else yet, but if war with Denmark should erupt, we're trading with Denmark and they're unfriendly with us. Oh, that's interesting. In other words, we'll just have to see how things play out. Hanover could be interesting to take because Oldenburg and Hessen-Kassel are in between us and France then, and Mecklenburg is also friendly to us, I think, isn't it? Yes, it is, and we're trading with them. So for us to be here, surrounded by guys that are relatively friendly towards us, save for perhaps Hessen-Kassel and Saxony, but we can improve that. So that's one way to play it. Or another way could be to indeed support Portugal, land our forces inside there once we secure an alliance with them, and start playing part of the Peninsula campaign, basically, which is of course historic. So that is what I would prefer to do. But first we're gonna see if we can merge our navies together and create a bit more strong force with another 5th rate and a 4th rate, which does leave us open to attack from Denmark should war with Denmark erupt. But for the rest, I'm maybe Amsterdam, but if we continue to destroy these ports with just this navy here, I think we should be fine. If these guys team up with this fleet, then we'll deal more of a punch there, and that's what we'll try. So that brings us to the end turn. First turn is done. And quite often alliances can break in the first turn. Right away stuff happens. As I said, Austria is being attacked by the Ottoman Empire. And they have a ton of allies, and we're going to side with them.
Ahoy!
So Spain is already up here with a corvette, a merchantman, and another merchantman. But the corvette is not something I can deal with.
Reverse course!
Confederation of the Rhine. So now Napoleon simply added as Baden-Württemberg, Munich, Bavaria, these whole line of states to its repertoire. And now Spain is on the hunt. I guess they're still there. They've decided not to attack us here, but we're going to move up there. And a corvette really isn't a big ship, so I'm gonna move out with these guys as well. Now the Netherlands, the Dutch, have kept a unit in port, so I can't destroy it anymore, but I can destroy the French harbor.
Expects that every man do his
There's no building there. Okay, I'm gonna sit here, hope they withdraw to their capital, and try and destroy their port again on the next turn. So right now, money-wise, we're only making a tiny bit of money, even though we are occupying quite a few trade nodes. Let's put this Indiaman over there again, together with what was it, the merchantman that's already there. And this does add wealth to the region, or doesn't it? It doesn't.
At your service.
Our fleet has already moved. We're going this way.
Is discretion.
yes.
Going undercover.
Scotland is still loyal to us. How is Ireland? I'm not gonna sit there have a yellow. They're just gonna remain where they are. These guys. Can we draw them out? Wales is also a loyal, happy province. How nice is that? So soon we'll have something of an army along with these guys, but if you stack them all up, then it's okay. And that what I said we'd do is try and build an army here. So first we're gonna try and enlist a general, which we don't have the money for. Cool. Recruit something then. Light dragoons, fencibles, or line infantry. Let's go for the line infantry. And then hopefully on the next turn we'll have money to also squeeze a general in there. And then we can start defending. Look, here is the Dutch fleet, which is like 8 ships strong, nothing to scoff at. And supposedly the Spanish are still around here somewhere, and that should be our first target, our priority, to get rid of them. And also we're going to have to test our battle skills in Napoleon. I don't have any troubles winning naval battles in Empire. As I've said, I've focused on France and Prussia before, but those aren't precisely naval factions. I've never developed a navy with them. Maybe some trading ports and some trade agreements, but naval battles therefore are new to me in Napoleon. So that's going to be fun. Technology. Oh, 7 more turns. So we tried for Prussia as an ally. Let's try again. Still no turns. Alright. There we go. I'm curious as to see how far they can move. They might just reach us, which is just fine. I mean, Nelson is gonna wreck them. Or at least that's what I suppose he'll do. But no. This I think is...
Ready. Under sail. Ready.
What's trading here? Spain is trading. So I guess they have occupied that area, and they have. We are at war with them. So... yeah. I'm going to attack them.
Boys, think of the prize.
Think of the prize. A corvette has a speed of 20. Of course, the merchantmen aren't much in terms of speed, nor are any of our other units. Now, the corvette, I don't know, they deploy first. Sure. Do I want to... I'm already contemplating whether or not I want to keep the corvette. It can be useful to ferry across like a spy, but that's going to happen once. We have a fleet over there, so I'll probably scupper the corvette and keep the Indiamen, merchantmen. And it's going to be useful to play the battle. I could have auto-resolved, but I want to get a little feel of what the ships do in a naval battle here. We're sailing against the wind basically, which is not useful. Oh wow, have I not... oh, the camera scroll speed is very slow. I'm going to have to adapt that. Alright, arrows is faster. Now our deployment zone goes all the way up here. If we do, and we will, then we can sail with the wind, which is far more useful. And then we're going into a line. Let's see. Where's the formations button? Hello? There you go. So we're going to sail this way, and we're going to use chain shots as we want to dismast them and capture them. Now we're losing sounds as we're going triple speed, which for me is the only way to go really, because otherwise it's going to take forever. So now, if all is well, the entire line is following us, and I'm gonna sail straight at them with half wind right now, and then turn our broadsides towards them once as they approach. Okay. Now, commanding an entire line is... it doesn't respond as fast, so I'm just gonna cross their T behind them and fire both ways, because the entirety of our fleet is coming in behind, and this should pretty much demast all of them. If there's anything left after this, I'm gonna be really very surprised. So we're gonna circle around with the wind. Okay, that's not funny. These guys have surrendered. So break off, break away. Okay. No. Which is why I'm used to commanding just a single units in battle normally. Works way better for me than doing multiple units at the same time. And also chain shot is a lot less effective here than in Empire, I must say. I must say. Wow. How hard can it be to demast an Indiaman? I mean, they're gonna just stay around forever? Unbelievable. And battle. Heroic victory, thank you. Oh, is there any way to see our statistics? I want to sell the Corvette
We are
and
victorious.
add the merchantman. We've sunk a ship. I didn't mean to, sorry about that. And now we have some prize money, 370, wow. Now, I doubt that Nelson is able to rank up any further. I think he's pretty much fully developed as an admiral. So let him join up with William Cornwallis, or the other way around. So now we have a single fleet. Spain has been defeated here. We've captured their trade node and we're going to go ahead and face the Netherlands, the Dutch, the Spanish, the French, all their navies. They must succumb to us. Now look what they've done. They've left their port open to another attack. Hey, there you go. So this is fun to do. In fact, I should have taken that Corvette along so that we can do more of this type of damage. Because right now we aren't really in range. I might even split up this little fleet here and use two separate vessels precisely for that purpose. We have money to grow an army in Gibraltar. We're recruiting and it's going to take another turn. So first recruit a general. Who shall we hire? This guy costs 2k. He is of course the preferred general to expand our army with. However, I very much expect our army here to be destroyed soon enough. I'm not really counting on keeping them. We'll have another unit of foot in there, and once we've cut down the navies of France and Spain and the Netherlands down there, then we'll move over our armies, both of them I think. Let's put one unit in here so they can't destroy our port. And well, we've played a couple of turns. If you've liked what you've seen so far, please do leave a like on the video. Also, if you want to see where the campaign goes next, make sure to subscribe and be notified of any future updates on my publications. I'm also playing campaigns, as I said, in Empire Total War, Shogun Total War, Arena in multiplayer, and then there's 3 series in Third Age Total War, Rohan, Dolamerot and Linden as we speak. So if that's your thing, then do feel free to make a comment and be in touch, keep in touch. Like to hear from you also if you've played Great Britain before. As I said, for me it's the first time with this faction, so I'd love to hear tips and advice from any of my viewers. Leave a comment down below or jump into my Discord as a link in the description, and see you again soon.